What's up, you die-hard Ram 1500 pickup truck enthusiasts? Today, we're taking a closer look at your truck, your suspension specifically, and the coil spring setup that you've got. Unlike traditional pickup trucks, the Ram 1500 has adopted a coil spring. And this is excellent news for you because this is actually going to give you really nice ride quality. Your truck is going to feel more like a family van than a traditional pickup truck. However, this coil spring comes at a cost. While the ride quality of your truck is great, as soon as you start towing or hauling around any amount of weight, your truck is noticeably going to sag and the ride quality is going to diminish. That's where aftermarket helper spring products like Timbren's SES suspension enhancement systems or Airlift's airbag kits come in clutch. Helper springs are going to keep your truck level when you're towing and hauling, which is dramatically going to increase the ride quality, going to make it feel better when you're behind the wheel, and ultimately, they're going to lead to a safer ride. The question is, which helper spring product to run on your Ram 1500 pickup truck? And in this video, we're going to answer that question and help you determine which product you need depending on the application and the use. First, let's talk numbers. The Airlift airbag system is going to give you a capacity of 7,500 pounds. The Timbren SES suspension enhancement system, on the other hand, is going to give you 8,600 pounds of capacity. That's 1,100 pounds of extra capacity with the Timbren SES system. But it's not just about the weight and the capacity of the kits, there's other factors to consider as well. Airbag suspensions or airbag helper springs like Airlift have pressurized air inside of them. And they might even have an internal bump stop if you go for a higher end kit and you're willing to shell out a little bit of extra money. The big drawbacks to these airbag helper spring systems is what I like to call the U factor. See, these are only as good as the air you do or don't put in them. Every time you hook up a trailer or you put a load of dirt in the bed of your truck, you're gonna need to correctly apply the right amount of air to make sure that your system is running optimally. And because of this, these do not provide a progressive spring rate. A progressive spring rate is kind of like having a smart helper spring system where the more weight you apply to your vehicle, more tongue weight or more weight in the bed of your truck, the more that your system works to keep your truck level, smooth, and safe when you're towing and hauling. Like I said, airbag systems like Airlift's Load Lifter series don't provide a progressive spring rate. The amount of air that you put into those bags are it. And the more air you put in them, the stiffer and more uncomfortable the ride becomes. Timbren SES, however, does come packed with a progressive spring rate, so you don't ever have to think about how much air to apply or not to apply to your bags. However, some users like the flexibility and the option of airing up and airing down depending on what they're doing. So if that's you and you got some extra money burning a hole in your pocket, airbags are the kit for you. But for those of you who want a set it and forget it solution, an option that once you've installed, you never need to think about again, it just works, Timbren SES is definitely the option for you. The next thing that we're going to look at is durability, because the last thing that you want for your Ram 1500 truck is to install a helper spring system that is high maintenance and needy and becomes more work than it's worth. I'll keep this one short. Timbren SES kits are virtually bulletproof. Airlift airbags, or any other airbag for that matter, become useless if you get so much as a pinprick in it. So unless you're really babysitting your kit, airbags may not be for you. If you take your Ram 1500 anywhere with things that could puncture your bags like a campsite, construction site, or a farm, you may want to reconsider airbags. So for durability, Timbren SES takes the crown. The other thing that we need to consider is cost, because in these times of inflation, rising gas prices, and so on, the last thing that you need is an opportunity to spend more money than you have to. An airbag system like Airlift's Load Lifter kit can start to run a hefty bill once you start adding in compressor, hoses, valves, even installation time. You can be looking down the barrel of a $2,500 bill. Timbren SES kits, however, are going to run you little over $300. That's $2,200 in savings just by using a Timbren SES kit. The next thing we're going to talk about is ride quality. This wouldn't be a complete guide of helper springs for your Ram 1500 pickup truck if we didn't talk about ride quality. As we've already established, your truck already has great ride right out of the gate from the factory with that coil spring that you've got on the rear suspension. So we don't want to do anything that's going to tamper with that ride quality. Airlift's Load Lifter kit or any other airbag system needs to run a minimum of 5 PSI in the bags at all time. So that means that regardless of whether you need them, regardless of whether you're towing or hauling, these are going to have some impact, great or small, on your coil springs and the ride quality of your truck. Timbren SES kits, however, are designed to sit roughly 1 inch off of the axle when you have no weight, no trailer, no load in the bed of your truck. And that's so that they don't impact the ride quality of your truck when you're empty. But when you decide to hook up that trailer or put a load in the bed of your truck, these are going to gently sit down 1 inch, and that's when they're going to engage and do their thing, keeping your truck level, safe, and improving the ride quality when you're towing. Furthermore, Timbren SES kits utilize a patented AEON rubber spring technology, which acts as a shock absorber, giving you a smoother ride when you're towing and hauling. If you've ever towed a heavy load over train tracks or over a rough road, you know what that ride quality can feel like. Timbren SES, however, is going to smooth those out and make that journey much more enjoyable. And as for ease of installation, Timbren SES wins here too. Airbag systems are complicated with compressors, hoses, valves, controllers. They might even require professional installation. Timbren SES, however, is designed to be a DIY solution that you can do in your driveway with basic hand tools. The last thing that we need to look at is warranty. Timbren SES suspension enhancement systems comes with a no BS lifetime warranty and a 100-day money-back guarantee for as long as you own the truck. Airlift airbags also come with a lifetime warranty. However, if you're going to run one of their compressor systems, you should know that those only come with a 2 or 4 year warranty, depending on which model you go with, and they only come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. So whether you're cruising down the highway with your family or you're towing an RV to a campsite, using your pickup truck for work, understanding the strengths and limitations of your RAM1500 pickup truck suspension is going to make all the difference. So if you've got a little extra cash burning a hole in your pocket and you like the idea of airing up or airing down depending on how you're using your truck, something like Airlift's Load Lifter series is going to be the right product for you. But if you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit more economical, a little bit more wallet friendly, as well as set it and forget it so that you never need to think about airing up or airing down again, Timbren SES suspension enhancement systems is definitely the kit that you need to run. Thanks for sticking with us. We'd love to know which product you're choosing to run in the comments below. We'll see you next time.